Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into today. Today is December 2nd, 2013. It's on a Monday. Now, there is a lot of news to absolutely get over, look over. We have China last week saying that we are not going to continue to stockpile U.S. dollars. We're done. The U.S. gets a little bit upset. You know, they're a little perturbed. You want to know why they're a little perturbed? Their power is being undermined. Now, how do we fix this problem? How do we fix China? Okay, I know how we can do it. Let's get Japan to fight over territory with China, something they've been doing for quite a while now. The United States is saying, they're acting like they're completely isolated from this, with the exception that they came out with a statement saying that we're going to back Japan regardless of what happens. But Japan is claiming territory around China, right around the border of China, those islands. China is sending warplanes to watch over Japan, escalating tensions that way. And as I stated earlier, the United States is saying we're going to back Japan if war were to break out. And of course, there's been reports a couple of years ago where a warning shot, according to Wayne Madsen, a couple of years ago, a warning shot from China had grazed the west coast of the United States. A couple of weeks ago, China even released plans of possibly nuking Seattle. Now, fast forward into Monday morning, into Monday afternoon, we notice that the bond market explodes. So the 10-year note goes from 2.75 to 2.80. Meanwhile, you have horrible news coming out. Black Friday sales are down 13%, released just yesterday. You have Christmas being inflated 7.7%. That's being reported by GeorgeReport.com. Oh no, excuse me, it's being reported by ZeroHedge.com. You have a situation where, because of the bond market had exploded during the course of the summer, you're now seeing that happen again. It's going up, 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 up. Last summer, it was reported by Art Cashin that if the 10-year note were to go up over 2.90%, that would be a warning sign for those holding equities. And if the 10-year note were to go above 3%, that will possibly signal a sell-off in the equity market. So it's really important to keep your eye out on the 10-year note if you're paying attention at all to this. Another important piece of news is the fact that gold and silver have been smacked down. Gold is back down to $12.25. Silver is back down to $19.43. Silver and gold have been selling off quite a while into the month of November. We are now in the month of December. We'll have to wait and see how that continues to unfold. Fortunately for us, for people who do hold gold and silver, we're probably nearing the end right now of the downward cycle, and we'll see a bump up fairly shortly. At least I believe it'll happen fairly shortly. Alright, another thing I want to discuss is I want to do a video response with Luke Rudowski, Wearechange, and there was a video that came out about entrepreneurship where he interviews a guy named Josh Tolley, who he himself talks about owning your own business, and not just being a business owner, but really learning the skills and have the ability to drive business. And he also talks about the differences between that and employment. And one of the things that he states and talks about is that employment becomes a very dangerous thing. It's the number one leading cause of stress and heart attacks. One interesting statistic he talks about is that mornings, you're more likely to have a heart attack Monday mornings between the times of 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. The situation is, the point he's trying to get to is it's actually better to be self-employed than being employed. Another thing that he talks about is the fact that there's so many different regulations, and it's seen as a bad thing to be an entrepreneur here in America. Is, I think, what he's getting at. In other parts of the world, it's not so much the case. People are more free to be their own boss and have their own business and then trade amongst themselves within the community. But here in America, with all the regulations, the rules, the laws, the fees, the fines we all have to pay, we're forced to have to take employment rather than self-employment. So as the economy continues to keep crumbling down, the more and more reliant people are on employment, because more volatile the private sector is. Now, as more volatile the private sector is, the more people begin to lose their jobs or their hours get cut. Now, here's what we need to do, and here's my response to that. We need a revolution here in America, or a renaissance period in America, where everybody just starts a small business. We all start a small business. We ignore the regulations. We ignore the fines. We ignore everything. And we tell the government, hey, look, we're not going to allow for you to take care of us. We don't want you to take care of us. We can take care of ourselves. We're going to own our own business. We're going to own our own property. You're not going to tell us what to do. Why is it in China you're more free over there to start your own business, to have your own business, and make your own money than it is here in America, where, if you're at a mall and you have $1,000 in your hands and you decide, you know what, I'm just going to give random people money. I'm going to give random people money, and the guy gets arrested and fined. I mean, is this really America? Is it America? I don't know. I thought, for a second, I thought we were in Soviet Russia right now. So the point is we need to fight. We need to fight, not physically, not in a warlike state, but we need to fight in that InfoWar type of paradigm and say, you know what, we've had enough. We want these rules and regulations out of our lives. We got to get big government out of our lives right now. And we need to start being able to take care of ourselves. We need our schools to be programmed in such a way where we teach our youth to be able to take care of themselves. And another thing that this guy Tolly talks about is he talks about how much happier people are self-employed, how much more fulfilled people are being self-employed. And you know how much better the economy would be right now if people could work for themselves? You know how much more better off people would be if people were able to trade amongst themselves without some bureaucrat hanging over their back, trying to watch everything that they're doing. And now that you got the new PlayStation out, you got the new Xbox out, and you got all these new computers out who are designed and specifically programmed to watch everything you're doing. So even if you're trying to make a little bit of money on the side, they're going to capture whatever it is you're doing. You're going to have the IRS knocking on your door. Oh, geez, Bob, I've noticed that, through watching you from Xbox or watching you from your PlayStation, you're making a little bit of money there, huh? Yeah. By the way, you haven't paid any taxes, nor have you reported that income. We're going to have to arrest you now. And that's where we're coming down to. We need, and I just can't say this enough. And I just feel like with a lot of people, it doesn't really come through enough. So let me repeat this again. We need to fight for entrepreneurship in the info war. As Alex Jones has stated, it's an info war. That's all I have to say before I continue to ramble on. I know it feels like I'm rambling on, but it's just enough is enough. We have to stop putting up with this. We need to become Americans again and not become Soviet Russia, communist China. We need to be able to be self-sufficient again. We can't continue to keep up with this. Now, another thing too that I do want to mention is Black Friday sales were down. as I said earlier in this video. I believe I said earlier in this video, I did 2 videos, and I'm going to go ahead and scrap the other one and use this one because I was sucking on a cough drop and didn't sound too great coming through. Now, Black Friday, so since Black Friday sales are down, and they were down compared to last year and the years before. Now, for those of you who actually went for Black Friday, I did too, and I am going to have to confess I did buy a few things only because I had a birthday party to go to the next day, or later that day technically. So I ended up buying a few things, but I bought the things that I actually could afford, and I actually bought things with cash. So there you go. So I don't sound too hypocritical, but I mean, let me ask people this. You know, on my response to Black Friday sales being down and what had occurred over in some of these Walmarts. And you notice, the one thing I had noticed from all these videos coming out, and when I was at Target, everything was controlled, people were coming in and out, and there wasn't anything too spectacular happening. Same was the case for Best Buy. Now, why is this all happening in Walmart? Why are, you know, with all the videos that I've seen over the weekend, with the exception of one where it was at a mall and these 2 women were tasering each other, why in Walmart were people punching each other, fighting each other, just for a stupid TV? Now, I have to ask those people, was it worth it? Was it worth it to go to Walmart, to pay with credit card, to buy a TV you can't afford, and then run around and beat people up just to get the deal? Was it worth it? I want to know, was it worth it? I mean, is this what we really become as a society, as a country? I mean, are people so depressed with their jobs, so depressed with their lives, that this is all they have? This is all they have, to go to a stupid store to fight for stupid Chinese-made goods when they could be home with their families eating a turkey dinner. I mean, give me a break. Come on. And people wonder why we keep losing jobs. People wonder why we keep losing the Bill of Rights and our freedom. You want to know why? It's because of behavior like that. It's the fact that more Americans are becoming more animalistic the more we get into this crash. So I'm done. I gotta sign off right now. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And stay tuned for more. Bye.